Before every game, my baseball coach would tell me two things. What goes up must come down, and get back on the bench. For the last 3 months, Bitcoin has done nothing but go straight up, and even the most conservative price predictions of Bitcoin this year are absolutely mind-blowing. And we're going to be jumping in to show you exactly what that looks like, not just for Bitcoin, but for Ethereum as well, and when can we expect to see a substantial pullback. Absolutely insane that Bitcoin's price has literally already doubled its all-time highs, even just in the first week of the year 2021. But guys, is this rally already different than the 2017 rally? And we're going to talk about 3 reasons, according to this article, why Bitcoin will not repeat its 2017 crash. And as well, should you believe this scenario about a 50% collapse, and what would come immediately after such an event? Let's do this. Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Milton Moonblast, but my friends just call me Savage. Guys, we've got so much to be jumping into in this video. And specifically, this is just absolutely critical as Bitcoin's price has been absolutely changing lives, changing our piggy banks like many people couldn't even have predicted. Guys, I've been making videos about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies for years now, and I've been in tune with this market. I spend hours and hours every single day staring at these charts, much more than I probably should. And even still, even though I was expecting the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021 to be absolutely insane in terms of maximum gainers, guys, even watching this chart, it is still mind-blowing, coming from somebody who spends way too much time staring at these little candlesticks. So guys, we're going to be showing you on these charts just what we expect over the next 3, 6, 12 months. And we're going to be getting a lot of opinions in this space because as we've been kind of trying to build up over the last few weeks, this structure and this duration of this bull market very likely could be unlike anything that we've ever seen. Wow, so if you guys absolutely love thick piggy banks and big old gainers, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications, and as well for anybody with experience trading, anybody that is interested in also supporting the channel, make sure to check out our Bybit deposit bonuses below. And without any further ado, let's dump in. Guys, looking at this Bitcoin weekly chart, it is clear this is absolutely mind-blowing. If you take a look at just the last few weeks in particular, it's literally going straight up, just slicing straight up through these charts. And the thing is, we still have the entire year of 2021 left, and we see price predictions for Bitcoin to end out the year 2021 ranging from, on the lower end, about $100,000 per Bitcoin to the high end, $400,000, $500,000 per Bitcoin, even just within the next 52 weeks. Okay, so those price predictions vary hugely, right? There's a huge difference between $100,000 per Bitcoin and $500,000 per Bitcoin. And as well, for Ethereum, which has still yet to even break its all-time high from the year 2018. Yeah, I believe it was January of 2018. The Ethereum price predictions are actually just as crazy, ranging from as low as about $2,500 to 5 digits, so at least $10,000 per Ethereum, even within the next 52 weeks, even just within this brand new year. So are these price targets attainable? Absolutely, and there's some fundamental reasons why. We're going to be talking more about the charts towards the end of the episode, but I want to talk about a few things here first. So here on Business Insider, 3 reasons why Bitcoin has doubled in less than a month. $20,000 to $40,000, and it's only the first week of the year 2021. But more importantly, what are the chances that we don't repeat a crash of 2017? And guys, before we start off, no matter what you believe, at any moment, if you're invested in cryptocurrency, at any moment, you need to look at that chart and understand that a 40 to 50% drop, literally any day, any single day, is possible in the cryptocurrency market. It's one of the reasons back in 2017 people were calling it a scam. They were calling it too volatile. Institutions didn't want to get in. The billionaires didn't want to be associated with it, primarily because of how volatile it is. Again, 40 to 50% drops in Bitcoin's price, in Ethereum's price, in a lot of these cryptocurrencies' price is 100% normal, expected, and not even necessarily bad, especially for the mid and long-term growth of this market, guys. It's a nascent asset class. It's extremely early on, so obviously huge swings are just part of the structure. Now, we're already over 10 years into Bitcoin's history, so we should be getting a little less volatile, and honestly, we kind of seem to be getting a little less volatile. But tell that to somebody who's never been invested in Bitcoin, and they see it go from 40,000 to 35,000 and then back up to 40,000 in the same 24-hour period. It's pretty jarring if you don't have experience in the space and you don't understand exactly how Bitcoin works. So a few things I just wanted to highlight here. So there are three main points of why Bitcoin will not crash like it did in 2017. And I only have a few things highlighted, but their main 3 points here are FOMO, fear of missing out, demand for inflation hedges, and as well increased legitimacy. So guys, on the first point here of missing out, if you don't have something in your portfolio that's performing well, you're not going to perform well. So people are going to leave funds. When people put their money in funds, they want to see their money make them money. They want to see their positions grow. And so for these funds, if they want to actually compete with some of these other funds that are getting into Bitcoin, they need to kind of chase this absolute craziness as well. There's a quote here is saying, you've got larger and larger position sizes chasing a smaller and smaller number of Bitcoin in circulation. That's one of the keys of Bitcoin in general. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin, and they won't even be mined for over another 100 years. So all of the Bitcoin will not be in circulation until over 100 years from now. So unless you and I trade our human bodies for robo bodies, we probably won't even exist in 100 years from now. Okay, but yeah, this is something that's absolutely critical for this. They're looking for something trustworthy to put their money in, to not only increase in value, but to just not decrease in value by something silly like printing more of it. How infuriating is it that if you have your money in USD, the government can print 30% of the entire USD supply basically in a single year, like they did in the year 2020, and which is going to continue into 2021, and just make that USD that you're holding less and less valuable. 100 years ago, $10 used to be able to buy you and your family a massive steak dinner. Now, fast forward to the year 2021, $10 can barely buy you a piece of bubblegum to chew on. And here we go, demand for inflation hedges. So exactly what I just mentioned. Money printing has meant that everyone in the world has been searching for hard assets to invest in, something that isn't going to go up in terms of supply, and that's exactly what Bitcoin is. And then thirdly, increased legitimacy. So PayPal's adoption, the influx of institutional funds lend Bitcoin new legitimacy and interest among retail. And just recently as well, the U.S. Office of the Comptroller of the Currency said national banks can use blockchain networks and stablecoins for payments, further legitimizing digital currencies. A lot of people say regulations maybe coming in the future might be bad. Guys, whether or not they are, ultimately it's doing one thing. It is further legitimizing Bitcoin, and it's giving more and more people confidence to be able to put their hard-earned cash into it. And really, it's not even that much of a competition at this point. What do you want to leave your money sitting in USD and have it depreciate every single day, basically, or put it into something like Bitcoin, which, yes, it's kind of volatile, but if you look at the trend over the last 10 years, not only is it up, it's mega up. It is absolutely very much up to the upside. So I know exactly why I keep like over 85% of all of my capital in cryptocurrency. And to further back that up, analysts saying 3 main factors are driving the Bitcoin price. The media frenzy around the latest boom, the involvement of traditional money managers is burgeoning in a maturing market, growing immensely, and third, big players are viewing it as a protection against inflation. And this year, 2020, was going to be a good year for Bitcoin, in my opinion, but what we saw with the absolute crash in March, with what the virus going around the world, guys, that is the fundamental reason, I think, right now behind this massive boost in Bitcoin's price. I personally thought Bitcoin was going to explode towards the second half of 2020, and specifically in the year 2021. But we have to keep in mind, this is most likely bullish scenario number 1, meaning things are going to accelerate a lot quicker than we thought because of exactly all of this money printing. This money printing is basically taking the use case for Bitcoin and putting it on steroids. It makes the attractiveness of Bitcoin so much stronger. And that's one of the reasons why seeing a $40,000 Bitcoin the first week of 2021 is possible. And it's one of the reasons you see people changing their predictions from maybe $100,000 per Bitcoin this year to $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 per Bitcoin. It's unpredictable. Nobody knows. But one thing we can say is if the US continues to absolutely print this monopoly money like hotcakes, then Bitcoin should do well. Bitcoin should do pretty well. And that's exactly what we talk about the DXY every day as well, the comparison between the DXY and Bitcoin. And as well, guys, I wanted to talk about this. So Tom Lee, the managing partner of Fundstrat here, I've been following him for years. He was very involved back in 2017 and 2018. And I also just want to put a disclaimer there. He has been wrong pretty often. Anybody who puts out predictions is going to be wrong basically half the time, right? Any prediction is subject to change, subject to be wrong. So over a few years period, if you put out a few predictions, there's basically a guarantee that at least one of those predictions is going to be wrong. So just because I'm reading this few topics right here, these few sentences, does not necessarily mean this is something you have to take as fact. But there is some very key things here. So Bitcoin is clearly a hyper volatile asset. So basically the point of what Tom Lee from Fundstrat is saying here is that if we get to, April-ish of this year and the S&P breaks 4,000 and initiates a pullback, maybe 10%, personally he's saying that Bitcoin should see a 40% to 50% drop. Now this already is something we're expecting even if the SPX doesn't fall, right? Currently the SPX is the highest it's ever been, 38.24. It's only about 170 points away from 4,000, the figure that he just mentioned there. So it's already extremely close. So what he's saying is if we continue to climb up here over the next few months, okay, maybe see something like this, we get up to 4,000 by April, this is exactly what it would look like on this chart. He's saying, well, don't be surprised if we get a 10% drop in the SPX, which would look something, maybe like this, down to about 3,500, 3,600. And also don't be surprised if Bitcoin drops 40 to 50%. Okay, yes, very true. And that's something we could kind of come up with even if we weren't looking at the SPX, as Bitcoin just tends to have 40 to 50% drops in a bull market anyway before continuing higher. But as well, what he does say in this article is that even if it does drop that much, also still believe that Bitcoin could rally another 300% from there to end the year. So, even though he's saying, yeah, get ready for a 50% drop, which at this point, if Bitcoin did, let's actually just kind of chart this out. Let's say Bitcoin does continue up here. Let's say maybe gets to like 60, 70,000 by about April or something like that, and then has a 50% pullback. A 50% pullback would basically look like a $30,000 Bitcoin. So if we get a massive amount of gains in our portfolios over the next few months, and then we see Bitcoin drop drastically down to 30,000 US dollars per Bitcoin, that is a risk you have to be aware of now, okay? For people in the market now, it is still somewhat early, okay? We expect a 6-digit Bitcoin this year. So obviously it's not too late in many respects to that. But you always have to be prepared, even now, even at the price of 40,000 US dollars, you always have to be prepared for a potential 40 to 50% drop. And guys, what's awesome, even if we got a 50% drop right now, that would put Bitcoin basically at our all-time high of 2017, around 20,000 US dollars. And believe me, at the current environment in this space, if Bitcoin dropped down to 20,000 US dollars, do you know how many people and institutions would be lined up trying to soak up all of that Bitcoin? It would be absolutely immense, and I highly doubt we would spend more than a week below 25, even 30,000 US dollars before getting a bounce. Okay, the demand for Bitcoin is absolutely insane right now. And so guys, with that being said, the short-term price action of Bitcoin clearly is still on a fine trajectory. There's been no clear reversal indicators just yet. But if we go to the 6-hour, 4-hour, and hourly chart, there is a very clear bearish divergence here. Bitcoin is obviously extremely high up right now, and there are some indicators screaming, let's get a pullback. We also have to keep in mind, in a bull rally like this, it's not bad to be overbought. We're extremely overbought though, and the weekly is probably the best illustration of this. Even the weekly RSI it's clearly very high. It's like 95 right now. It's very, very high. But guys, this is the final thing I want to point out too. This is for Bitcoin and Ethereum. So this box right here is just basically from the beginning of 2021 to the end. So a 1-year period. And basically the lowest price predictions we're seeing right now are about $100,000 per Bitcoin to end out the year. That would look like this on this chart, okay? Basically it makes the $20,000 high of 2017 look like a little blip. But let's take a look at some of the higher price predictions and what it would look like on this chart. This is about a $200,000 and then a $300,000 Bitcoin before the end of the year. It makes even where we are right now look like a little blip on this chart. We have an immense room for growth, and this is just to illustrate to you just how insane Bitcoin's price most likely will get in just the next 51 weeks, as we have 51 weeks of the year left. And guys, for Ethereum, just as crazy basically, right? Here's the all-time high of about almost 1,500. Here is about a $5,000 Ethereum and a $10,000 Ethereum right here, a 5-digit Ethereum this year would make the all-time high of Ethereum of about 1,500, a little less than that, look absolutely minuscule. So guys, with that being said, you have to understand the opportunity and the scenario, the bull market that we're currently in. It's truly mind-blowing, and it's truly an opportunity that very rarely comes along. Cryptocurrency is a revolution in terms of payments, in terms of how we do finance, in terms of how we can do a lot of things, right? The applications for cryptocurrency, smart contracts, and this whole decentralized technology are basically endless. And this is the very beginning of it. We're 10 years into it now, but if humanity survives another 50, 100 years, then there's no doubt in my mind that this sector is going to be absolutely shocking to people. Even 5 years from now, looking back, they're going to be looking at a $10,000 Ethereum and thinking, wow, I should have gotten in there, most likely, right? They're going to be looking at a $40,000 Bitcoin and thinking, my goodness, everybody told me to research Bitcoin back then, and I just didn't. Remember, this is a long-term game. All of these price projections I was talking about are specifically even for the year 2021. But fast forward 5-10 years from now, guys, I just can't even imagine how much regret I would have if I didn't even have any of my capital in Bitcoin. However, I do have some of my capital in Bitcoin and some other cryptocurrencies as well. Wow, so if you guys love gainers, if you're excited for the future of crypto, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications, and as well, for anybody interested in trading these markets, have experience, you want to support the channel, make sure to check out our link to Bybit below. Keep in mind, trading is always risky, whether you use leverage or not, so be careful out there. 2021 is going to be absolutely a wild ride.